Hey guys, what's going on? Today we are going to look at doing a water change on my 55-gallon live planted aquarium. Just going to show you all how I do it here. First, what we're going to do, at least what I'm going to do, is trim some of the plants here. Some of them are a little bit overgrown. They are kind of growing in front of the spray bar right there, so I want to kind of move those out the way. Some of these dwarf baby tears down here came a little uprooted, probably from the fish messing around with them. So I'm going to push some of those back in the substrate. You can also remove some of the algae from the glass, which is kind of hard to see here, but I can notice it. Now a couple things I use here is I do have a bucket. I use that to throw some of the leftover plant matter I'm clipping. See, I also have my trimming kit that has a couple different kinds of scissors, has some tweezers in there to push plants into the substrate. And I normally use a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean the glass. I like the Magic Erasers better than, you know, a silicone or a plastic or even a metal scraper. You know, sometimes those scrapers can kind of dig into the silicone on the tank itself and make it look kind of nasty. They can scratch the glass. If you're going to look at doing a Magic Erasers, make sure you get the regular Magic Erasers, not the kind that has soap in it, because that soap can harm your fish. Alright, one thing I noticed just kind of looking around is that there's a couple of spots that has some Black Beard Algae in it, and this stuff is absolutely the worst. It's like getting herpes. Once you get it, you just can't get rid of it. I'm not sure if you can see it on the spray bar back there. Right back here, you can see a little tuft right there that my finger's touching. That's Black Beard Algae. That stuff will absolutely connect to anything. It will grow, it will spread. You know, I've seen and read different ways to control it and get rid of it. You know, some say good spread of CO2 in a tank. You know, I've tried everything. It still appears. I've discovered the best thing that I use, at least to get rid of it, is Flourish Excel. I straight dose directly to the Blackbeard algae where it is with some Excel, and within a week it's gone. It turns red, it turns white, it dies, and either the shrimp or the fish eat it. So, you know, it's a battle you have to constantly fight, but at least you can limit its spread with the Flourish Excel. So what I use for the Excel is I just use a syringe I picked up at a local pharmacy. Measures it in milliliters, so you can kind of keep an accurate gauge of how much you're putting in a tank. Excel has instructions, so many milliliters per so many 10 gallons. You can overdose a little bit on Excel. They recommend not, but I've never seen really much of a problem with it. So what I did is I poured it in the cap, just put the syringe in, and draw it out. Get the air out. Alright. So what I'm going to do here is actually directly dose with the Excel onto where that algae is, even though it's kind of hard to get to. Just spray it on there. Looks like there's a little bit on the front right there. A little bit right there too. And it's amazing. Once this stuff's in your tank, you'll just start finding it everywhere. So you just have to be kind of vigilant of spot dosing it. Pull it out where you can, you know, but sometimes Excel does the trick. Alright, so trim some of the plants back from the spray bar. You know, a lot of times, especially with this tank, I like to have like a little empty space right here. Kind of creates a focal point for your scape. I just like how it's kind of a V shape. It flows nice with this piece of driftwood right here. Next one I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Magic Eraser to go ahead and clean the glass of the tank. So with the Magic Eraser, you just put it in there, move it around. Alright, so this is what we're going to be using for our water change. This is the Aqueon Water Change system. This thing is built to attach to your faucet with this end right here. And with this, it has a little toggle right here. You can go between using siphon to draw the water out, or placing water back into the tank. And of course this thing goes into the tank, and this is what's going to go ahead and either suck the water out or replace the water in there. Alright, I'm using my my kitchen sink for this, so you're going to remove a little beauty ring with the strainer in it. Now, this has a couple, at least it comes with a couple of different options for you, so it should fit just about any sink you have. This part right here is going to fit onto the faucet right there. Now, it'd come with a little rubber grommet, but I found when the grommet's placed in there, it doesn't thread onto the sink correctly, and it actually works better without the grommet. So this threads onto the sink. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get on. Alright, finally got it. So this threads onto the sink right here. There's a nut right here that actually screws onto the attachment. And that's it. So it's attached to the sink. Now, the plastic on here is kind of brittle. There's a couple small cracks on there. Not sure if you can see right there. There's a little bitty crack. So what I've had to do actually is take towels and wrap it around this, because if not, sometimes water will shoot everywhere. So towels wrapped on there. So the next part is to attach the hose, put it inside the fish tank. Alright, go ahead and put this in the fish tank. Now, normally what I like to do when I'm doing this is put it somewhere in there. I don't like to put it at the very bottom by the substrate. Put it somewhere in the middle. I normally do about 50% water changes in the tank once a week. But I don't want to put it all the way at the bottom, but if something happens, I get sidetracked that it sucks all the water out of the tank. What I've done here is I've just gotten a little clamp to clamp the hose to the tank itself. Not too hard, but just enough to keep it in place. And we have the hose inside the tank, so we are ready to start the siphon and drain the tank. Alright, with this I normally like to turn it on full blast, both hot and cold first. And there you go, the siphon has started. And you can see the water level has already started to move a little bit. With this, sometimes it's kind of hard to get the siphon started to where the water will kind of drain out from the tank a little bit and then it'll stop. So what I'm forced to do is put water into the hose to fill the tank back up, then hit the toggle to start siphoning again so that siphon can start strong. Once it runs for a little bit, I'm going to adjust the water temperature that's coming out of the faucet to match that in the tank. Alright, got the water to match, our water level's dropping, so once we're about, around halfway in the tank, we're going to go ahead and switch streams and start putting water into the tank. One thing I did want to note though is I do once weekly water changes on this tank. About 50% of the water is drained out. The reason why is because I do have a live freshwater tank, and with that I do dose fertilizers daily, and there's a method called the EI method, and with that you're kind of estimating how much fertilizer you're placing in the tank. It's not exact science, so with these water changes weekly you're doing a reset on it. So you're putting so much fertilizer throughout the week, drain that 50% water out, and you're doing a reset so you can begin all over again the next day. So days 1 through 6 you're fertilizing the plants. Day 7 there's no fertilizer, you do your water change, you start again on day 1. Alright, we're getting fairly close, but one thing I did want to mention, for those that don't know, when you're doing a water change and you're putting water back into the tank, you are going to need something to remove the chlorine or the chloramine that may be in your water. I prefer Prime. It removes both chlorine and chloramine. It's some of the best stuff out there. A little bit goes a long way with it, so don't forget to use that. Alright, we're about where we need to be with this, so I'm going to go flip the switch and start putting water back into the tank. Okay, has a little toggle right here that switches from siphon, and now let's put water back into the tank. So we're going to add our dechlorinator right now. And because I'm putting water directly into the tank, I like to do a full dose of prime for 55 gallons, which is about a cap full. And I usually do another dose after the tank is completely full, just to be sure. So I'm just going to shut the water off and we should be good to go. Alright, just shutting the water off now.